Hi there. You're watching Sipping Off the Cup on Tequila Aficionado Media, all of our platforms. I am Mike Morales here in San Antonio, Texas. That young senor over there is
Rick Levy in San Diego, California.
Rick. We have been dissecting and talking about Cava de Oro, which in English translates to the Golden Cave. Uh,
Actually, I
the Cava is
believe
the resting
I,
place.
bel I believe cava is also a term used for Mexican sparkling wines.
Oh, no kidding. Well, what happens is a cava is a cave that's originally been used to rest barrels. That's what a cava is in Spanish. So, golden cave, golden aging place. A lot of people who are watching us may have had a chance to go to La Fortaleza in Tequila, which is Guillermo Souza's home, ancestral home, and they have an underground cave where they rest the barrels. We were there for the first iteration of his tequila. There was still some resting. It was dark in there. You could hear some bats. The lighting wasn't the greatest, but the Blanco, that first batch of Blanco just floored us. And it's a memory I'll never forget. I understand now that the cave has lights, and it's there's a lot of things have happened since that first batch.
From what I
Uh,
understand, he brings the tourists down there and gives them a slideshow and a
yeah,
multimedia presentation, and then they
it's
drink.
yeah, it's now a multimedia room,
Yeah,
but it's an actual cave.
it's a cave.
It's Cava de Oro is Golden Cave. So the Golden Man Cave, I guess. I don't know. What's the name on this one again?
The nome is 1477, Tequilero Puerto de Hierro. Founded in 2000, and Cava de Oro is their flagship brand. Started at the same time. The founders are Hildardo Pardita Melendrez and Leticia Macio Revalero. And Gildardo is a third generation Agavero. And Letitia's name is on every bottle that comes out of there. So my guess is she handles the brands, and he operates the huertas and the distillery. Their son, Alberto Partida Hermosillo, is the master distiller there, and so we know him from Gran Reserva de Don Alberto, which was a highlight of ours last year.
It was. If you follow their son, the Tequila the Reserva de Don Alberto, you can find them. They're very active on Instagram. He's very active in shows. We're very proud to say that Don Alberto is going to join us on our tequila for the next festival taste that we're gonna have later on in the year. Um, who knows? He might stop in to visit with us in Pasadena, California, when we get to El Cholo. We don't know yet, but we're hoping. But he's been very active. He very beloved. I mean, the brand is doing great on social media. If you're anywhere where you can taste that, try the Joven. Rick and I were really really surprised by how well the Joven is. Joven is an actual category that has been abused or forgotten. It's been like this redheaded stepchild that people forget is actually there, and there's a couple of brands that have abused the Joven category, a couple of other ones that have really made stellar Jovens, but no longer. But we really enjoyed it. So, but to be fair, the distillery does have a sweet tooth. It
Yeah.
leans toward the sweet. Some of the other brands that come out of there have a reputation of being maybe sweeter than normal, sweeter maybe than people out there would like, than maybe you and I would prefer. But I think we can agree I think it's a great gateway to the category itself. So
Yeah, apart from the sweetness, which we're not necessarily used to in a lot of the profiles that we cover. Apart from that, it seems like they have a decent process for producing. We're not finding any defects that are trying to be hidden or covered up by the sweetness.
No,
And they seem to really be into French oak barrels previously used for red wine. And they seem to really like a heavier char or toast on the barrels as well.
I think we talked about the reposado. I think that that the process is drawing a little bit from the red wine barrel, because I found some similarities that we have had in the 5-year Dulce Vida barrel strength, which is also aged in Napa Valley barrels. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure that there's some sort of aside from the general use of glycerin, because I think we can safely say that they use glycerin, because we've tasted it, just a small amount in the Blanco, but as they get progressively older, the ages, they may use them more, because we taste that palate coating. It's unmistakable. Okay, yeah. It's going to palate.
And we're going to be tasting the Anejo in this segment, and they risked this one for 2 years in French oak red wine barrels.
Now, again, let me just state right now, and for the record, French oak barrels, not cheap. Okay, not cheap. Even on the secondary market, it can't be. If someone were to offer you used whiskey barrels versus French oak, I would probably buy the whiskey barrels, because they're going to be cheaper. But French oak has this certain characteristics that lend itself to the wines and of course to tequilas. You and I have tried Casa Noble that strictly French oak barrels, virgin French oak.
French oak.
They're made for them. So they're hardy characters.
Very distinctive profile.
Yeah. So anyway, I pulled up. This is the reposado, and this is the añejo, and I thought the colors would almost be the same. They're as you can see, they're richer. They're darker than your average repo or añejo. I'm using my Jarrito tumbler. This is the longer chimney tumbler that used for tequila, and it's.
I'm trying to pop the stopper back in, and it keeps popping up.
It's alive.
I don't know if I have a seal in there or not.
I don't know. It's one of those. It's like I said, like the 1800 one, and I told Rick I never get. It's supposed to be where it fills it up and gives you your own shot, but I can never to do it right, because I always spill it on myself. So.
Or as I did, I spilled it on my computer keyboard in front of me.
Yeah, there you go. He just fried his keyboard, folks.
I finally figured out how to work out that inner stopper and poured it on my keyboard.
Now the legs and tears, the color's beautiful. I'm not going to lie to you. It's gorgeous coloring. Legs and tears they're slow. They're not very fast. They're not cheating. They are slow. So, kind of a giveaway. They're it's thick, it's rich. I sound like I'm talking about like ketchup or something, but anyway, I love the color. I do.
Do I dare say it's like Canadian maple syrup?
Well, it's thick enough.
The Canadian, true, Canadian real maple syrup is thinner than, our American Aunt Jemima high fructose corn syrup, completely artificial thing.
Didn't you and I taste the Delaterre maple cinnamon liqueur? You got to admit, they did that one right. The maple on that was just where it belongs. Because I was expecting Aunt Jemima, and that's not how it is. So this has got some thick legs, thick tears, a rich, hearty color.
I'm getting orange notes off the top. You know, like orange zest and dried fruits.
Dried fruit. Yeah. Now this is more akin to what you and I have had in some old, well, not older tequilas, but like extra añejo tequilas. Like the nose is somewhat like a Don Pilar extra añejo. Probably not as sweet though. Again, again, it reminds me of the Dulce Vida, the 5-year aged in Napa Valley barrels.
Yeah, there's something about those red wine barrels that does impart a sweetness.
I think that's what you're smelling. I think is whatever grape they were using, that wine grape grappa kind of smell.
Now I'm wondering if, like the first thing I was getting was like some bitter orange. I wonder if that is from the French oak. Because you get a lot of bitter qualities.
Yeah. I'm not sure. It's hard to say because now there's a difference between a tequila being complex and a tequila being all over the board. And having had some that were structured and they had layers and they built to a crescendo. This one is all the Repo and the Anejo right now for me have been like kind of like all over the board. There's no like rhyme or reason. Does that make sense?
Yeah. The thing I'm kind of finding across them is, the main characteristic seems to be the sweetness.
Yeah. There's not I can't say it's a consistency. It's hard to pin down. There's and I don't even want to say it's complex because it really isn't. It's confusing as opposed to complex.
Yeah. Well, how we were talking about how in previous segments where with a lot of the brands previously, it seemed like the Reposado was just kind of the stopover halfway between the Blanco and the Añejo. Right. And then brands really started making a statement with the Reposado.
Yes.
And I guess, maybe what we're not really finding in these is a statement.
No, there's only one, and that's the sweetness. If we're talking about consistency, at least the consistency is there in the sweetness. I mean, but I'll tell you what, I went down further and I got some more of the minty notes. There's some mint, there's some herbal stuff, and that's from the barrel. I got that from just a hint, as on the pass through. And it's weird because I normally with the Jarrito I don't have to dig down deep.
Yeah.
But maybe it's because of the coating. I don't know. But it's there. It's there in that mintiness.
Yeah, you wonder if there might be a kind of heaviness to the consistency that is keeping some of those aromas from vaporizing and coming up to meet you.
I think so. I think you're right because you're using an expensive barrel. You recharge it and you rinsed it because if it is indeed
kosher,
a kosher barrel, it went through a special rinsing to be allowed to have that seal on the bottle. So, why put the additive in it? Why not let the barrel do its job? I don't know.
I got a burst of pepper on the front of my palate, and I have like a lot of sweetness everywhere else. The back half of the palate kind of feels almost a little candied.
Yeah, I agree. It's coating my palate. The sweetness is what's lingering. You're right. If the agave was going to come through, the only chance it had was right at the beginning. you're never gonna taste it again. Because even down on the back end, it's like a bitter sweetness, like a bittersweet, which again I attribute to the barrel. I think
I got a little bit of the heat that we noticed in the Blanco as well, but that we didn't necessarily pick up in the Reposado.
yeah, yeah, no. Again, it's hard to pinpoint because they're all over the board. I'm trying to. I'm confused. I'm trying to find maybe the pepper is actually supposed to be like a hot cinnamon.
Possibly.
Possibly. I don't get any bitter chocolate notes from the French oak that I'm so used to getting. There's no cocoa. There's none of that. I think the nose, we're getting some of the barrel from the wine in the nose, maybe the color, but once at the intake, like I said, if you don't taste that agave up front, it's never going to happen for you because it's just.
What do you think about raisin? Do you feel like you're maybe getting some raisin on the palate?
I've had dried fruit before.
Raisins are made from grapes.
Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah, I'm getting like dried fruit. I still want to say orange, like some bitter orange, but then there's this other sweetness going on that's all kind of jumbled in together.
I think what's happening is the additive that they're using, whatever it is, I'm going to say it's glycerin, is obstructing what we really should be tasting. I'm wondering what this would taste like right out of the barrel without all this other stuff, the polishing, as they like to call it, the polishing and the not so much mixing, but the polishing. I would love
to
taste
avocado.
Avocado, yeah. I would like to have it sin avocado, por favor. And you have an expensive barrel, man. Let the barrel do the job.
Save the sweetness. Save the sweetness for the mixers. If there's anything being added, let's mix it up in the cocktail process.
Yeah, or save it for a liqueur. There is a place for sweetness in the tequila category. There really is. The tequila liqueurs now, the one we had the other night, the Three Amigos, it was called Ramona's Reserve, has the sweetness that it had was infused with agave syrup and spices. And it was really different. It wasn't. Believe it or not, this is sweeter. Believe it or not, this is sweeter. And that they're not adding anything else other than whatever additives they're allowed to by the normas, by the.
Yeah, there were some tequilas we've had where I could swear I'm tasting agave nectar, but I don't
to say that on the label.
I don't know. I can't really say that about this. I think there's probably something going on between the char and the red wine, but in terms of we've tasted most of the profiles across Jalisco and the tequila producing regions. And so, we've been around a bit, but, for folks getting in, I could see how this could be extremely popular.
Oh, yeah. For those, you know what? Here's the thing. If you like Clase Azul,
oh, yeah.
And I would rather drink this.
May I recommend this?
Yes, please. Yeah. Not only is it cheaper, but it's real tequila. Because to my knowledge, Puerto de Hierro does not have a diffuser, and they wouldn't. They try to do everything.
I think they only have. I think they only have one Molino, so I don't think they're going to bother with shelling out for a diffuser.
No.
And they're, it's like French oak barrels. Why would you put diffuser tequila in a French oak barrel?
Exactly.
So no.
Yeah.
No, it's like they've got, they have honest equipment there. They have they are using a process that is not leaving defects in the juice. We just don't know what they're doing to polish it.
Yeah, and if you're used to having, if your palate does not lean toward the sweet, then this may not be for you. Like
Yeah.
for me, Rick, if I had my choice, I would pick something else to drink. But if I had this and Clase Azul, I would drink this.
Absolutely.
At least I know what I'm getting.
I'd be there with you.
It's real
Yeah.
tequila,
You know what you
and
could do?
respect.
You could probably make a really good Latin Manhattan with this. But instead of using a sweet vermouth like you would traditionally use a dry vermouth.
Yeah,
Maybe
balance it out.
something that's not like, even you could maybe even use one of the white dry herbaceous vermouths, or you could go with something a bit warmer that's still in the dry category. Um, you could go in the opposite direction with the vermouth to balance out the sweetness in this, but you would still have plenty of sweetness that you would be looking for in that cocktail.
Well, here's another take on this. The one and only time I ever had Clase Azul, it was served to me with a steak, and I can't say I didn't like it. I did. So with the Repo and the Anejo of Cava de Oro, you could serve this with meat. You could actually pair this with food, and because I find the sweetness more palatable in this one than I did in the Clase Azul, and a Clase Azul with a great steak wasn't bad at
Yeah.
all. Honestly,
Well, and with the Clase Azul, it's covering up defects as well.
yeah,
You can if you're sensitive to it, you can find the defects in that one right away,
yeah,
and then you see that they're coating it with the
yeah, yeah. And if you're going to go that route, save yourself a few bucks, pick up this one,
yeah.
and head in that direction.
So
You know,
the Cava de Oro Añejo, I found prices ranging from I basically found $60 across the board for a 750 of the Añejo, and of course that would be the American bottling at
right.
for 40 ABV. We for the show tonight, we actually are using the Mexican edition at 38.
Yeah, I think what happened was when Rick found these on his doorstep in a shopping bag, they sent both samples to his house. I think the guy just walked them across the border and then made a stop in Old Town Liquors and picked up a couple of the other ones that we're going to do later on, and those were at 80 proof. So I'll tell you what, I don't think I could I don't think I could stomach this or handle it at 40 ABV because I think everything would be amplified. I really, if I'm going to do this sweetness, I would rather go below 80 proof. But that's not going to be possible in the States, or unless you go to Mexico. But anyway, that's our take on Cava de Oro. That's the Añejo. Stick with us though, because we're going to be doing some really interesting experimentation with an extra añejo and a cristalino extra añejo. That's right, a cristalino. Get used to it because that's a new category. It's coming up.
Uh,
I know.
I,
He's dreading.
I,
Wait, save it. Just save it for when we go there.
there's
Okay.
nothing to save. I'm speechless.
Oh my God, I'm
It
Mike
makes no
Morales here in
sense.
San Antonio. That poor man over there.
Rick Levy in San Diego.
You have been watching Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our networks, all of our platforms. Don't forget to subscribe to us if you're watching on YouTube. Press that red button and you'll cheer this poor man up. Whatever you do, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely.
I'm Mike Morales. I'm CEO of Tequila Aficionado Media, and I just wanted to thank you for watching Sipping Off the Cuff. We love doing these reviews for you. Now, if you're an Agave Spirits brand owner and you're watching this, there are 3 things that I'd like to talk to you about. Number 1, if you'd like us to review your Agave Spirit on Sipping Off the Cuff, just send me an email, mike@tequilaaficionado.com. It won't cost you a dime, and I promise you'll get an honest review. Number 2, if your brand has been nominated, past or present, as a brand of promise, we can help you promote your brand effectively and affordably over on the tequila PR side of things. Just email me, mike@tequilapr.com. And number 3, if your brand has ever been a Brand of Promise nominee or a winner, you automatically qualify with us, or to go with us on our next promotional tequila tour. So shoot me an email, tours@tequilaaficionado.com, and I'll send you all the details on our upcoming tequila tour. That's it. Thanks again for watching. Sip wisely.